This one, I don't think we should even waste our time going into this. You're giving us the advice. It's going to go to a vote when it happens. It's not going to go in Mayor's Rex because not everyone's going to be happy with it. So.
You're talking the
We need some direction.
Subvention.
Thanks very much, please.
Is he talking?
Yeah, I think he's talking subvention.
Yeah, keep going, keep going. Yeah, there you are. Can you flip over to subvention? That's it.
So just to put everyone on the picture, the one for water loss management and water pipe condition is actually coming on Tuesday now. So this is the last one, and then Bede will have a wrap up. So far away.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you want us to carry on?
No, we're moving along at pace.
We're getting through what we've been put in front of us. So, okay.
Tuesday will be.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
As the speed's been excellent, and thanks very much for the direction on the items. So, as has been flagged through finance and performance, council's currently got a surplus of about $11 million year to date, largely underpinned by the additional subvention receipts that we've got by about $7.36 million. So one of the options being put in front of council is the use of that funds. We can effectively carry that forward. Well, that's one of the options, is to use it as a impact on rates for next year and in the next 2 years or further. The default position when we have a surplus is to generally use it to repay debt. So that's option one there, and that would what the impact that would be. We could use it to apply to renewals funding, so that would again reduce the borrowings in 24-25. So you can see the impact there on years 1 and 2 of the LTP. Option 3, reduce rates in year 1. So that sees just over 1% drop from 24-25. Because it's not an ongoing stream, that does mean the following year, year 2 of the LTP, would see an increase. So that pops it back up again. Option 4 is to spread that over more than 1 year. So what's outlined there is spreading it over 2 years. So that would see just over 0.5% drop in year 1, a small increase in year 2, and 0.5% increase in year 3. So there's a wee bit to take in there. Happy to take any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Sarah, then Tyler.
I just letting you know that my preferred way of going ahead is repaying debt.
Sorry, I didn't hear that one. Sorry.
I'd like to repay debt. That's the option one.
The top,
just given feedback. Yeah.
Top one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Tyler?
Just for clarity's purpose, we were told last year that this is a one-time thing. Is this the same one that we were talking about?
The second one-time.
Thanks very much. Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So we have budgeted just over $30 million over 2 years for receipt of subventions. So we had budgeted for the current year $24 million to come in. The actual receipt was $31 million. Okay, we've also budgeted $10 million for next year to come through. So this is in addition to that $24 million. So we got 31. So this is in addition to that. Yeah.
Okay, so the staff last year said it did make them feel uncomfortable. Are you feeling okay with these options provided, seeing as they are staff recommendations? Which is there a leaning in terms of what feels good?
What feels good? So I guess that depends on the outcome that you want, Councillor. So the first option is repaying debt. So that's a benefit to all ratepayers over time. The other options, certainly option 3 and 4, there's a term the phrase, there's a sugar rush in year one, and then you have to catch up that because it's not an ongoing. If it was ongoing, then that wouldn't be the case. So yeah.
Okay, so the more conservative option is, I don't know if conservative is a word. So the more conservative, safe option, in my opinion, and if you'd agree with me, would that be option 1 to pay down debt?
Well, it's additional funds, so you could use it to repay debt, which is, like I said, that's option 1, or use it to fund things that have sort of popped up that we weren't aware of.
Okay.
You could use it for that. So one-off things as opposed to ongoing things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just let me stick more in here, Russell.
Yep.
As you said, it's a sugar rush, and if you look at option 3, it's -1, and then it's +1. Are we suffering from what we did last year? Like we would have got minus something last year. Is there a plus? Is there a downside to what we did last year happening to us right now? You see where I'm coming from?
That's councillor's quite correct, because we budgeted to 24. We're not budgeting 24 for the following year. We're budgeting, I think it's 11. So you've got to make up that gap at that point. So that's the downside. When you take a one off, what's the best use of that? If you use it to reduce rates for a particular year,
which we did last year. So we're
Correct.
paying for that right now without this.
that's part of why we started off, I guess, with a high increase. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just people watching. Oh, geez, we've got them coming now. We've got Tim and then Kel.
I totally agree with Sarah. We've got to we've been asking at CCHL our subsidiaries to try and bring in more rates, more funds, etc. We've got to just try and get rid of our debt, because if we don't, in a couple of generations, we may be forced to sell things if we don't curb it now.
But it will increase rates if we... Okay. Sorry, Tim, Victoria, please.
Just following up on your comment then, so if we adopt option 1, it increased rates in 24-25 by how much, please?
Oh, sorry, no, that's not right, Russell.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there's no increase in rates. But this is additional funds coming in, which we haven't considered. All the rates projections that I've presented over the week, these hasn't been incorporated at all. So this is a separate item that's come in. So there would be the only impact for year 1 is the purpose to which we put this funds now.
Okay. Kelly, then Pauline.
I may have missed this. Are you guys taking a position on this? Is there a staff recommendation? I mean, there's options. What would be prudent? Sorry?
No.
Carry on.
Yeah, sorry if I did miss it. So your option is?
Look, I
What's
think
the accountant's view? As
That's right. You've got the accountant sitting
I'm
at the
trying to
table
say.
here.
the accountants are sitting at the table
But with
here.
the
and it's an
financially
office.
prudent thing.
Yes,
It's
that's
what.
right.
Well,
Conservative
look,
accountant.
it's a governance decision really,
Yeah.
and we present
Yeah.
the options. To Councillor Henstock's point, I guess what it is in economic terms, you'd say there's an opportunity cost here to this money, and how do you apply it? Do you use it to reduce rates or repay debt or whatever? And those are your choices, and that's purely a governance decision, and all we aim to do is just present the information so you can assess the financial impact.
Well, the accountant around the table's not here today, so it'd be nice to hear from.
Yeah.
He's an accountant, but a politician first.
Look, I think our job is just, honestly, we're trying to give you information, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to give any personal view. We want to just give professional guidance. There's opportunity cost to this money. It can be applied in one way, or in another, and it's a governance decision.
There's nothing wrong with you giving sound, prudent financial advice. though,
This
surely.
might be something that councillors may want to hold off a decision about this until they get to the end and see the bottom line rather than make it now. Yeah.
Well, in the Mayor's rec at the moment, it's actually got option 4, but people might have an allergic reaction. Yes, that's right. Yeah, but I'm totally with everyone that. But we've got to pay down debt. We've got too much debt. So we're between dead and deep blue sea. Pay down debt, keep rates up, keep rates down. Don't pay down debt. That's all the problem that we've got.
Yeah, but
we've got Pauline.
Okay, so Pauline, then Mark, then Jake.
So is it correct to say that subventions have always existed? They just raised their head last annual plan when we realised that we could perhaps break the cycle of what it's normally used for, which was, is it correct that they've normally been used historically to put against debt? Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Certainly the extent that which we've had the availability has increased over the last couple of years. I think going forward, post this period where we have had the extra funds sitting there, we've got a budget of about $1.2 million going through. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's correct that we've historically used it to repay debt, and last year was an exception where we used all of them to reduce rates. And this year we are applying it to debt, except we've got a little bit extra of 7.36 million, which now we're looking at the options to use it for.
So
clarifying
can I
what's
just
going
clarify,
on.
Bruce? Sometimes we've used it to pay off costs of non-profit making CCOs, haven't we? Like V-Base and Venues Otatahi, is that right? Transferred subvention.
It hasn't always gone to debt.
So it's just as Bruce was coming. So the question
Not
was,
you'll know.
what has been, I guess, the history of subventions and the amount that we've used, and have we used them to help CCOs where they've got into debt?
No, the history, what we've budgeted for subvention receipts, we've used to reduce rates. Any surplus at year end, historically, typically we would apply to reducing debt. Subventions have been very high in the last couple of years because we've had the opportunity to use them, but they are planned to fade away quite significantly to probably lower than the levels they used to be in the past, which was probably $3 or $4 million. They're forecast to be only a couple of $1 million after next year, but they're very high this year at 24 million and very high next year at about 11 million, I think. But those numbers were part of holding the rates.
So are you saying that historically we have always used subvention to reduce rates? Not, I thought last year was the first year that we really did that.
No, they've always been used as part of our general revenue. Just like CCHL dividends, treated exactly the same way.
So we just apply them wherever we see fit.
Apply the revenue to keep the rates down.
All right, that's clarified. Thank you.
As a budgeted item.
As a budgeted item. Where there's a year-end surplus, which is unbudgeted, unexpected, perhaps, typically in the past we've used that to reduce debt.
Okay, thank you. Marcus, please.
Yeah, I'm kind of in two minds on this one. Repaying debt certainly seems wise, but at the same time, we've got an extraordinarily large rates increase being proposed. Aren't we wiser to lower that to the best we can for the ratepayers to lessen the impact on them? But hey, I'm only one voice around here, and I thought we'd better throw that in.
No, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm. So, what the only thing is that, in my view, what option 4 does, it pushes it out, the problem out, and it's all well. We won't say kicking a tin down the road, yada yada yada. Into the couple of years out, what we all tried to do together to get this blimp out of our head, and we've done very well. We've pushed a lot of stuff out. This just moves this out to year 3 and 4, where the rate increase is marginally lower than, or a lot lower, sorry, markedly lower than what it is going to be. So that's the only reason that I'm putting that in there, to take the heat out of the next 2 years.
It doesn't only just push it out, though. It means that we're borrowing another 93 million over 10 years, which is what some...
we're borrowing 93 million by pushing it out?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Exactly that?
Yeah, because we'll be borrowing instead of rating for the
So it
renewals.
costs $93 million?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's only...
It's not right.
It's only... It's only 7.36, isn't it?
All right, carry on, chaps.
Just to perhaps help the discussion, Council.
You mixed up
So
the
this is
slides.
the opening slide that we presented, which showed the current rates position as we're sitting before we're talking about the matter in front of us, the subventions. And I just raised year 2 sitting at an increase of 8.9%. So those matters that we've spoken about, like if you've used the subventions year 1, we're going to be pushing 1% down in year 1, but up 1% in year 2. Just signalling that, and that's at a time, I guess, where inflation is expected to be coming down, interest costs will be coming down. So it's already, I'd say, it's higher. Yeah.
But that's not option 4, though, is it, Russell?
Yes. So
4
option
spins it
4
right out.
would still push that up as an element, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
A tiny bit, but not the 1%.
If you,
Not one. I think it's
0.04.
it's minimal.
More in year 3.
Okay.
Oh, lunch again.
0.5% in year
0.4, 0.04.
0.04. In year 3, it's
So
jumping.
it does take the heat out of the next 2 years of big stuff. Anyway, that's what I've got in my mayor's report. No one likes it. Vote against it. Put it up, see how we go. Righto, sorry, we've still got some questions. There was Jake, and then Tyrone, and then Yanni.
2 quick questions. Option 2, I don't understand. Is that just saying that we will take the money and over the next 2 years use it to up that ratio between rate and debt funded renewals? Is that right? Have I got that right?
Sorry, could you?
Option 2.
Yes.
Option 2, I don't understand it. Is it just saying that we'll take that tax money and over the next 2 years use it to increase the ratio of renewals funded from rates as opposed to debt?
That's correct. That's the position that it's putting up. It's saying, okay, let's put that towards the funding of renewals and what the impact is over the couple of years.
Okay.
It's very similar to option
And second
1.
question.
Yeah, not a lot dissimilar to option 1. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
just a roundabout way of kind of doing this similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
The second question is on, you were saying that, so normally, am I right in thinking that the predicted of subvention we receive goes to offset rates, we treat it as cash flow. It's the additional portion that we go, oh, hey, look, we got this extra bit of money, we're going to pay down debt. So there is actually a balance built in of benefit to current paying ratepayers and future ratepayers. They get the extra portion.
That's correct, Councillor. So as with any surplus or position at the end of the year, the default position is to repay debt unless there's something
So
that's popped up.
There's a mixture of both. It's just that last year we took all of the money and said, boom,
That's right.
1 year hit.
Well, we're still budgeting we've got $24 million in the year to bring that down for the current year.
Thank you.
Jake. Tyrone, mate, are you there?
I don't have a question, Phil. I think you're looking at the wrong bit.
Okay, sorry, mate. Yanni?
Thank you. Are we doing any work around I thought there was a work stream around what happens with Te Kaha when it comes into our ownership around subvention opportunities. Is that work still happening across the council group around who owns what assets? And obviously there's a big cost.
There is discussions about that, but no one's made any decision yet, and that's a long way down the track. A long way down the track.
Is it? Well, is it likely to come ahead of it being open? I mean, I'm just wondering if we're having a big debate about something in the short term that in the medium term is actually going to get a different, probably a more favourable opportunity.
Yeah, I know where you're going, but that's got nothing to do with what we've got right here. That's at least a year, 18 months away, isn't it, Pete? Something like that.
Yes, there's.
Long way
We're
down.
not in a position to provide advice on that at the moment
Okay.
at all. No, not at all.
All right. Any more? I hope that's confused you enough.
I think it's back to
Okay, so that brings us to the end. Is that right? Must be end of today's. Now you're just going to talk us about next steps a wee bit, Bood, are you?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So look,
Do you want to talk about that? Updated costs on OPP?
just before we go to that, Russell may be able to provide a little bit on updated costs on the
OPP.
OPP.
So thanks, Bede. So just before we go on to the end, but Mr. Mayor, so the question was from Councillor Johansson, I think, the extra costs coming through the movement, did that impact the opening of the facility at Hornby? And the answer is no. It'll be fully commissioned by December 26. The costs are primarily being driven, and there's a number of factors, but primarily being driven by additional volumes going through. So so they've just, like, these budgets are moving or being updated. So so that's intent. So they'll be running 2 centres, if you like, for a period of time, about 6 months, while one comes off and the other gets up to fully operating. But there's no change to the Hornby side up and running.